Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about a couple of different things which I would recommend, plus the things that we changed as compared to the previous video that we had. There are a lot of improvements, and if you have been following this guide since the beginning, then good for us, because I guarantee you we will learn a lot of things here. Now, if you're new to Path of Exile, or if you're just passing by, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It will really help me out. So let's get into it. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is mana. During the early game to mid game, we were struggling with mana. To be honest, having 500 mana, 400 mana is not really enough for a monk. Once we cast our Ice Strike, it just burns through our mana. So how do we solve it?
Need more mana.
Simple. We add more mana. Now, there are a couple of gears that will add more mana to your character, plus intelligence too. Intelligence gives you 2 mana per intelligence. Now, for my gears, I added it on my boots and my gloves. So those are my mana sources. And this has 164, this has 178. And that gives me a total of 900 mana. And another benefit of having higher base mana is regeneration. Currently, at 933, we have 75.8. If I remove the boot, take note, this boot doesn't have mana regeneration on it. I only have 61 regeneration. So, if we have higher mana, means we have higher regeneration. That's a win-win for us. And another thing that we need on this updated guide is mana cost reduction. If you've been following the tree that we were building since mid-game on my previous video, then we are on the right path. This right here is conservative casting. We will be getting that because it just saves us a lot of mana. Plus this two right here and this one right here. Mental toughness gives us reduced mana cost while not low on mana. And this one is just mana regeneration. We just need to put a node in there in order to get this. Plus this one, Siphon. 2% mana per kill. The higher the mana, the higher it gives us. So higher the mana, yeah, more benefit. That is how we solve the mana issue. Now, next is survivability. As you see, or as you saw in the video, I am currently doing tier 13. Not only that, I do 14 and 15 already. So, how do we survive those maps? We need to combine 3 things. Armor, shield, and evasion. It is achievable, and I will tell you how to achieve it. So currently, I have 862 shield. I am getting that from 2 things. The body armor and the helm. Now, let's talk about the body armor first. Body armor, we will be aiming for as much as high evasion rating, as much as energy shield, and, well, for me, spirit. Later, I'll tell you the other source of spirit, but for now, let's focus on this. So, spirit and resistance. The life regeneration, that can go. Anything else can go. Spirit, resistance, and base stats. That's what we need in here. Why did we get evasion instead of armor? You'd ask me, where we already have tons of evasion in here. That is because of this node. It increases your evasion by 100% from your equipped body armor. Since we need a shield and we need evasion, this is our best bet. Now, take note that all of the gears that I'm showing you right here will cost you or range from 1 exile to 20 exile, with the exception of the body armor. The body armor, I aimed for a higher spirit, so it cost me around 1 divine. But if it's just around 45 spirit, which is enough. By the way, the amount of spirit that we need on this build is 200. And the higher the spirit, the more expensive, so plus the resistance and base stats. Yeah. But you should be able to find something with similar stats with lower cost. It's just a matter of how dedicated you are in searching for gears. I will link in the description below on how to buy from Path of Exile other players. If you're new to Path of Exile, they actually have this website called POE2 trade. You just get into the website, you browse for the item you're looking for, and then there's going to be a button there that directly messages the seller in game when they're online, and they will invite you to a party in game and just trade. And that's it. Very simple. It doesn't even take 2 minutes to trade in Path of Exile. Okay, so moving on to the helmet. I am also prioritizing resistance in here. Resistance and base stat. Most particularly the energy shield. Why energy shield again? It is because of this passive node subterfuge mask. It gives you 2 evasion rating per 1 maximum energy shield on your equipped helmet, which is good for us. Another great thing. Now, the combination that I'm doing to keep my character balanced is armor and shield on the helmet, shield and evasion on the glove, shield and armor and evasion. Oh, sorry, armor and evasion on the glove, armor and evasion on the boots, evasion and shield on the armor and energy shield on the helmet. So that's how I keep it balanced. Now, another big factor in terms of survivability is this amulet. My priority in here is the armor, the resistance, and the spirit. Everything else can go. Even that special enchantment, that can go. What's important in here is the spirit, the armor, and the resistance. Of course, if you can afford like all resist or all attributes like this one, I can't remember how much I bought this one, but I think it doesn't exceed 15. Yeah, it doesn't exceed 15. I think it's only 5 Exile. You should be able to find your amulet in PoE2 trade. And for the ring, now what I'm prioritizing in here is just resistance and cold damage, the percentage one, not the flat. If you are unable to find something with a percentage increased cold damage, then you can stick with resistance. It's just going to cost you, I think, 1 Exile for 2 resist Sapphire Ring. Of course, when you're building your resistance, don't forget to build Chaos Resistance. It's really important, especially in endgame. And but if you can get percentage cold damage, yeah, that's the best. That's the best that you can get. The other ring, it's just the same resistance, percentage to cold damage, and resistance to chaos. Everything can go. And when you're building your resistance, we may not have the same exact resistance on the item slot, so you must mix them up, combine, and depending on what you find in the market, that's how you will be building your character. I'm just recommending here what best in slot for those options are. Okay, so for the gloves, what I have in here is just base stats and resistance. Yeah. Oh, of course, mana. There is another thing to save mana or regenerate mana which is gain mana from per enemy killed. I also have that on my weapon. You also can get it from the ring. I just don't have it. But if you can get, like, let's say 12 here, 34 here, 20 here, 20 here, that's a huge amount of mana you're getting per enemy killed. So that way you can spam Eye Strike more. It just doesn't work in bosses though, unless the boss has someone beside him. But for bosses, I usually just use my flask here, regenerate my mana. But most of the time, like 90% of the time, or 95% of the time, we're just clearing mobs anyway. We're just going to kill the boss in, like, what, 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So, yeah, it's better to prepare for the mobs than for the boss. And there you have it. So base stats and resistance and just mana per kill. For the charm, this is very situational, depending on what biome you're dealing with. If the enemy freezes you, then get something that will save you from becoming frozen or stunned or burned or anything. Yeah. And for the weapon, now for this weapon, what's very important is a high base stat. High base stat is high physical damage. Because our skill, Eye Strike, it converts whatever physical damage is written in here into damage. So the higher the better. And when choosing a weapon, I always prefer getting level to melee skills and mana per kill. Everything can go. So it's just a physical damage, level, and mana per kill. If you can get those 3, then you're good. As long as you have high enough mana per kill, you're good. You'll survive. Now, moving on to the skills. Let's talk about Ice Strike first. So for Ice Strike, I am using Tempo, Infusion, Crescendo, Ice Bite, and Rage. Why am I not using Penetration and Armament? The reason why I'm not using this two is because of their cost multiplier. They have 120%. All of these does not. So whatever the casting cost of your Ice Strike, depending on its level, is what you will be paying for. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm only casting it for 46 mana. If I replace Rage and Crescendo with the 2 damage support gems, my Ice Strike turns to 66 mana cost. And this is already including the reduction to mana cost on the passive tree node, so it's 20 mana. It doesn't look high if you only cast it once, but we spam this skill, and it's really going to hurt your mana. So they do deal a lot of damage though, but Rage is actually not bad. Rage gives you damage per hit, and Crescendo gives you that third strike twice, which is not really that huge of a damage, but it gives you mobility because that has like 7 strike range. So you just dash to the enemy, and it's quite fast. Now, why would I put them in Shattering Palm? Now, Shattering Palm is what's going to kill most of the enemies in front of you. It's not really Ice Strike. Ice Strike will just hit the enemy in front of you, but all the mobs behind that, all the mobs around you, it's going to be Shattering Palm, which is going to kill them. That's why we're boosting this. We're giving it damage, penetration, in area of effect. If you watch my previous video, area of effect is in Tempest Bell, but I already removed it because we only use Tempest Bell for yellow mobs and boss fights anyway, so we don't really need that much of an area. And we plant the bell beside them, so overabundance and persistence is more than enough. Of course, if you have more slots in here, feel free to add other skill gems. Just pay attention to the cost multiplier because Tempest Bell does eat a lot of mana. Plus, I am only using a level 12 Tempest Bell, not the maximum that I can get. The maximum that I can get right now is level 19 or 18. The reason is, yeah, mana cost. And the difference to damage is huge. The thing that we're looking in here is Shockwave. So every time we hit the bell, it multiplies our damage by 191%. At level 18 or 19, I believe, plus 5, I believe this will be around 240, 250. Yeah, it's huge, but the mana cost just does not justify it. So I am good with level 12 plus 5. And for elemental expression, this is included in my previous video. If you missed it, I recommend that you go and watch it. But I have Scattershot, Conduction, Strip Away, and Cold Exposure in here. And Herald of Ice. So nothing changed. It's just the same clarity and cannibalism. Blasphemy, same. Heightened Curse, Hypothermia. Now these are the 2 new things in this build. Why do we have a shield? Why are we buffing our shield? This is what's going to save us a lot of the time. So, Wind Dancer first. Wind Dancer, it just gives you flat 20% more evasion per stage. It has 3 stages, so that's times 3, which is 60% more evasion. And it gets consumed whenever you hit. Whenever you get hit. Not bad, to be honest. It regenerates every 3.6 seconds anyway. And Ghost Dance. Now, Ghost Dance is the key to this build. Every 3.2 seconds, you gain a Ghost Shroud. What does it do? When you're hit, you gain an energy shield 5% equal to your evasion. What's 5% equal to my evasion? So our evasion is 7,699. 5% of that, 10% is 769 divided by 2. That would be around 360 something. 363 times because Ghost Shroud has 3 charges. Or 4 charges? I already forgot. But yeah, it does have charges. And whenever you're hit, you just regenerate 360 shield. So it'll save you a lot of most of the time. Actually, almost all the time. And don't get hit always anyway with this build because you have high enough evasion. So there's time for you to recover the Ghost Shroud and the Wind Dancer. So it's a really good build to survive. Plus the armor coming from the gloves, the amulet, the boots, and the helmet. And actually, I think I've covered almost everything in here. Yeah, go out there, hunt some monsters. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a fan of Path of Exile, or if you like this guide, make sure to like and subscribe. It will really help me a lot. Thank you and goodbye.